morning. Wow, what heroes you are being here this morning. I'm thrilled to see you. And
I don't think your mic is on.
the mic is not okay. My man's coming to take care of me. Watch this. And now? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, let me start again. Good morning. It's nice to see you. And thank you for coming out on this kind of blustery day. And it's spring. Isn't that interesting? That we have snow and it's spring. But you know, I had a thought coming down. We're really in a drought. So the more snow that we can get, the more we will be feeding our land. And so there's always a bright side of it if you look for it. So for those of you that are joining us online, welcome. We're so glad that you're with us this morning as we travel through this time of Lent. And the weather, as I just mentioned, it's snowing out right now. We're forecasted to get 3 to 6 inches. Where I live, the coast is 1 to 3. And it's Maine. I don't have to say anything more than that. It's Maine. And this is what we find when we're here. So, with that being said, let's begin. And we do that by singing together, and you can sit or stand, whatever you choose to do.
Come, let us gather together. This is a place of love. We come together as people of prayer. This is a house built on love. Come, let us gather in peace. This is a sacred space. We join our hearts here in one loving family. This is a house built on love. We come together as people of prayer. This is a house built on love. Ain't gonna let nothing turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nothing turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, walking up to freedom land. I'm gonna live in strength and stand my ground, stand my ground, stand my ground. I'm gonna live in strength and stand my ground. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, walking up to freedom land. I'm gonna live in faith and stand my ground, stand my ground, stand my ground. I'm gonna live in faith and stand my ground. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, walking up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let nothing turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nothing turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, walking up to freedom land, walking up to freedom land, walking up to freedom land. Please be seated. There is truth in the presence of our being. There is peace in the harbor of the heart. There is truth in the presence of our being. There is peace in the harbor of the heart. Answering the call to be the presence, centering the body and the soul. Take each day, be the way, wholeness lives in all. In the eye of the storm, there is truth. There is truth in the presence of our being. There is peace in the harbor of the heart. There is truth in the presence of our being. There is peace in the harbor of the heart. There is peace in the presence of our being. There is presence in the harbor of the heart.
I invite you to join me in prayer this morning as we open up our hearts and our minds to this time together. I'm inviting you to think of one thing that you're grateful for right now. And knowing that gratitude is a place that lifts us out of whatever might be troubling us. Whatever is going on in our lives, if we can focus our attention on gratitude, we'll find that we shift right out of that funky place. And so as we open up for this time together, we just give thanks for everybody that's here and for those that are joining us online and for the members of our community that are going through some physical challenges, emotional challenges, whatever is going on, knowing that you are being held right now, right here, in this container that we've created in this room and online. And so we just give thanks for the opportunity that we have to come together, to be a community that takes care of each other in whatever way we can. And so for that and so much more, we say thank you. Thank you, thank you. And so it is, and we let it be. Amen. Amen. Well, good morning again. I'm trying to think if there's, I want to talk about a couple of things. One, I want to say we had a wonderful community meeting last Sunday. And for those of you that stayed and attended it, I'm so grateful because it's a wonderful opportunity for us to check in and find out where people are at, what's going on, and just being community. That's what community looks like. And then we had a wonderful experience on Tuesday evening when we came together as a community on the Creating the Beloved Community. And that was another opportunity for us to come together as a community and to look at where do we go from here? And so my thoughts have been this week are, what is next? What is the next evolution for us? And that's what I'm excited about because I think the Beloved Community is going to help to reveal that for us as we come together and talk and stuff. And the book is in. So if you're part of the Beloved Community or if you want to become become part of the beloved community. I think we had like 25 people on the call last week, which was wonderful. So if you want to be part of that, just books are in the bookstore at the end of the service. And so I would just invite you to read the introduction and chapter 1 and 2. So for those of you that were on the call, chapter 2 will be, and we meet next month. So I think that's it for now. And good morning, Elizabeth. And so now let us either stand or sit as we do our invocation. And we say together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. One presence, one power operating in our life, and that is God. Our vision statement is, centered in divine love, we celebrate a spiritually transformed world. We celebrate a world where everybody is taking care of everybody, where we are one big beloved community, where everybody sees each other as the Christ or sees the light in everybody. And we do that when we show up that way. And our mission statement is Unity Center for Spiritual Growth reaches in to reach out through education, service, and creation of community. Everything begins in that place of prayer, going within and listening, and then taking the guidance and putting it where it belongs. And we have core values that we live by, and they are, we are loving, we are accepting, we are authentic, we are transformative, we are soul-centric, we are compassionate, and we are welcoming. And that is the truth about us. And that is how we show up in this community and in our life. And so while I have you standing, let's greet one another as we do by singing Namaste through once. And let me ask you, if you're online and you are with us for the very first time, I'm going to ask you to put your name in the chat and tell us where you're coming to us from. And the people online will greet you just as the people in here are greeting one another. So let us move into our heart space, dropping right down into that heart place. And you're probably already there. And we sing Namaste through once, and the second time through, we greet one another. So let us begin.
Namaste, namaste. My heart sings namaste. The light in me beholds the light in you. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Namaste, namaste, namaste. My heart sings namaste, namaste. The light in me beholds the light in you. Namaste, 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 namaste.
I'm going to forego the 5 basic principles this morning because Jack has something he would like to share with us. So, Jack, do you want to share what you have to share with us this morning? Because I think it really encapsulates our 5 basic principles. All right. Do you have a copy? Yeah, okay. Let me have one. Thank you.
So I've spent 25 years as a holistic healer, and I've also been healing myself from many challenges. And all 5 of these principles are involved in healing. And in this book that I've created, because I picked something that would be really challenging to explain and to put into words into a book. So a book was something I thought I'd never be able to do. By setting a big goal and working towards it, that's how you heal. The little goals don't have enough juice in them, you might say. But this has been a journey of wanting to share something. It's the first of 3 books. This is the past, my past, and what I've learned about healing. The second one is going to be your healing journey, more present. And the final one is going to be that mission over there, a world that works for all. I'm going to explain step by step how we get there.
And would you tell us what your
Yes.
intention is for the book?
The book here is why I'm bringing it here to Unity, is because I want to make a donation for anyone who buys a copy. This one here is $15, and I bought 5 copies to the church. They're donated to the church, so if you pay $15, it all goes to the church. And going forward, if you buy one of these $15 ones on Amazon, let me know about it, because I will donate about $9.50 to the church for each one sold here at Unity. The second thing is a hardcover version.
I have the hardcover version.
Okay, the hardcover
The
version
soft ones over here.
sells for about $24.99, and for each one of those sold, the church will get $15 of that. So just
Thank
want
you,
to do
Jack.
this fund.
Thank you. Mimo? It's called Your Healing Journey. My Healing Journey? My Healing Journey. Okay. Well, we do have time to, I'm not going to go through the 5 basic principles, but does somebody have a story that you want to share that reflects our 5 basic principles? Anybody got something that happened for you this week that you want to share? I don't need this one. Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to move on. I like that. So I'm going to ask our daily word reader, who is Mimo, to please come up and read the daily word for us.
On this snowy day of spring, good morning. Wholeness is the unshakable, eternal truth of me. It is comforting to remember, no matter what may happen to me in the world, I am always whole. Even during times of illness or insufficiency, my true nature is of divine wholeness. Worldly situations will always be in a state of flux, changing and shifting in ways I cannot control. I do what I can to tend to my health and other material needs. However, I do not worry over things I cannot control. Instead, I rely upon my prayer life and other spiritual practices to claim my wholeness. This is the enduring truth of who I am, whole and complete, regardless of any outside circumstance or appearance. How liberating it is to know that I am secure in God and complete at all times, spiritually perfect and infinitely blessed. Colossians 2:9-10. For in him the whole fullness of deity dwells bodily, and you have come to fullness in him, who is the head of every ruler and authority.
Thank you.
To open up Pat's talk this morning, this is a song by Dalton Roberts. I wonder what he wrote in the sand. She was just a woman of the street. They threw her in shame at Jesus' feet as they stood there with stones in their hands. He he stopped and wrote something in the sand. I think he wrote, "You can always start again. No matter who you are or what you've been, I'll help you if you give me your hand." I wonder what he wrote in the sand. They said, "Master, she should die for her wrong." He said, "If you have no sin, then cast your stone." One by one, the stones dropped from their hands at the words he was writing in the sand. I think he wrote, "Only love can change a man. So love one another, it's the great command." As he stood there with her life in his hand, I wonder what he wrote in the sand. I wonder what he wrote in the sand.
Whoa. That took my breath away. I wonder what he wrote in the sand. Whew. Yeah. Meeting Jesus again. What would he write in the sand if I were having a conversation with him? Today, we're talking about the Jesus who confronts without condemning. Just exactly that song. Go, my dear, and sin no more. And who are you to throw a stone? What makes you so pure? Whew. So, we continue our Meeting Jesus Again journey. And this week brings us into a deeper, more courageous dimension of Jesus' humanity. And as you notice, as we move through this series, each message invites us to meet Jesus in a new way. Not the Jesus of the little girl that I remember. I have a little short story. I had separated from my second husband. I was living in a condo in Topsom. I don't know why this just came up, but here it is. I was living in a condo in Topsom. I was working in Freeport for my son. And I can remember I was so distraught. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know who I was, where I belonged, or anything. And I remember driving from Topsom to Freeport singing, "Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so." And that was my comforting song when I was in my 30s, 40s. But that was the Jesus of my little girl. That was the Jesus who met me then. And now we're meeting Jesus again from a very different mindset, or I am anyway. So we don't meet Jesus and his messages from a distant figure, but as a human teacher whose presence still transforms us. And so this week, we have a very specific message and purpose, and that is to learn the difference between love and avoidance. Have you ever put those words in the same sentence? Love and avoidance? Well, we're going to talk about that. Because in the life of Jesus, truth and love are never separated. Are you getting a hint on where we might be going? What do we often avoid? Speaking our truth. We meet Jesus today as someone who was capable of deep directness and deep tenderness at the same time. Someone who could say the hard things without shaming. Someone who could name what blocked love without breaking relationships. So the spiritual movement of this week is simple and honest. Discomfort moves us to maturity. Discomfort moves us to maturity. And this particular message is designed to prepare us emotionally and spiritually for next week's holy interruption. What we explore today lays the inner groundwork for what is coming. So this week we meet Jesus, who confronts not to punish, not to belittle, not to win, but to free. A Jesus who speaks truth with tenderness, with dignity, with connection, and with relational courage. This week matters because in our modern world, we tend to swing between two extremes. In those two extremes, you're going to understand now why love and avoidance are in the same sentence. Because avoidance, that's one extreme, is pretending everything is fine. Everything's wonderful. Yeah, I'm doing well. When inside I'm dying. And the other is what he is called weaponizing truth, using honesty as a form of attack and not using it to diminish, but to create connection. Jesus does neither. Jesus shows us a third way, and that way, so he's not weaponizing the truth. What he's doing, it's a love-tethered truth. We tether the truth with love. So what does that look like? When Jesus confronts reality, what does it look like? The song we just heard, the woman caught in adultery. He protects her first. He stands with her. And then he speaks truth to her. Go and sin no more. So what do we see there? We see dignity. He holds her close. He affirms that she's okay. And he protects her from those who want to criticize her. And then he gives her a directive. And that was, go and sin no more. We see him do this throughout the New Testament. Zacchaeus, I've been talking a lot about Zacchaeus, and if you haven't checked him out, he is the tax collector. He's the one that people don't like because he's always there for the handout. But Jesus confronts him in a loving, kind way, not shaming, not confrontational. He just says to him, I'm coming to your house. Come on down. because he's up in the tree. Come on down. I'm coming to your house. And so what happens is he sees he's there in his presence before he starts talking to him about whatever it is that he wants to say to him. And then we have the rich young ruler. Remember him who wanted to go with Jesus but couldn't let go of all of the stuff that he had? And here's where Jesus uses love before truth. Jesus looked at him with love before he told him that if you can't put all this stuff down, you can't come with me. So he delivered a hard truth, but he delivered it with tenderness. And you can see in every one of these stories, there is no avoidance. He doesn't say, oh, fine, I understand. I use that phrase a lot. I understand when somebody's can't show up for whatever it is that they are supposed to, that they've committed to show up for. And I do understand. Jesus isn't quite that generous in letting people off the hook. Have you noticed? He calls them out. We talked about that in a previous talk. He calls them out, but he calls them out with such tenderness and with such love. And Peter, remember Peter? He says to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." And then he says, "And upon this rock I will build my church." So what he's saying to Peter is, the correction is, come here. You've got work to do. This is where you belong. And he doesn't remove him when Peter is doubting or when Peter is not aligned always with what Jesus wants. He says, come. I have this. You have to be the rock that this church stands on. So Jesus' truth-telling was always relational, restorative, dignifying, and rooted in love. And that's where the teaching that we're going to have this morning comes from. That in truth-telling, it's truth-telling is always the best way. But do it from a place of creating connection and restoring the relationship and dignifying the person that you're talking to and making sure it's rooted in love. So we're going to look at, again, confrontation versus condemnation. And here's the heart of today's message. Confrontation is for the sake of love. Condemnation is for the sake of power. Confrontation is for the sake of love. Condemnation is for the sake of power. Confrontation says, this matters because our relationship matters. I have to have this conversation with you because there's a wedge in between us, and I want to move that. So this relationship matters to me, so I have to have this conversation. Condemnation says, you're the problem. I'm walking away because you're the problem. Confrontation opens the door. Condemnation closes it. Confrontation restores dignity. Condemnation strips it. Jesus always confronted for correction's sake, for connection's sake, never disconnection's sake. Everything that he did, and you can go through his whole time on earth and see, it was always about connecting, staying connected, loving, being with people. He walked everywhere, and all of the people that he met, he was always looking to bring them in. Here's a very simple model you can actually use this week. And think of it not as a script, but as a posture. First of all, care. Do I care enough to support this? To have this conversation? Do I care enough for that? And then observation. Let me look at this situation and let me see. And then the impact that it will have, and then the desire. So looking at it from care's point of view. First of all, begin from love. Because I care about this relationship. You matter to me. So that's the first step. Getting in touch with how important is this person in my life? I care about them and they matter to me. And then the observation. State what you saw or heard, not your judgment of it. This is a big one, friends, because we're meaning-making machines. And we make things mean something when that was not at all what it was intended for. So state what you saw, not or heard, not your judgment. When this happened, I heard this. Oh, when this happened, I saw this. Oh, when you said this, this is what I heard. The next one is an important one, and it is impact. Name how it landed without blaming. When you said this, when you said whatever it was that you said, I felt hurt. I felt confused. I felt disconnected. So that's the impact of what the statement was. The desire is express what you hope for next. I would love for us to move through this. My hope is that we can talk this through. It would help me if you could explain what you meant by that when you said that. So that would be the desire. So the care is coming from love. The observation is to just state what you saw or heard, how it landed on you, and then what you hope for the experience, for the outcome of this. I want to talk about something else too. I want to talk about intention versus impact. And I may have said this before, but it's a really important one. And this is where you don't, I'm going to say I don't, and I'm learning. I don't justify what I've said or done by that wasn't my intention. That's automatically, I am taking myself off the hook. Can you hear that? That wasn't my intention. It doesn't matter what my intention was. It's what the impact was. How it landed is what matters. And I want to tell you, I have to be careful with that because I can be pretty intense. Many of you know that. And so I have to keep remembering, how is this landing? Is it landing in the way that I really want it to? Or is it landing in a way that's going to create distance from us? So impact and intention are very important. So care, observation, impact, and desire. And this is exactly how Jesus engaged people. You love them first, you tell the truth next, and that you're always looking for restoration. Are you tracking with me? Okay. So why does this matter for us as a spiritual community? And why it matters is because in a growing community, we must become a brave space, not just a safe space. A brave space is where we stay in relationship, we speak the truth with love, we choose connection over avoidance, and we practice repair instead of retreat. And we name what blocks love without losing love. It's not comfortable. You know, sometimes I've had people come into my office and share with me stuff that's not comfortable. It's like, "Mah," but I have to remember, why am I here? Why is this community here? We're here to grow. We're here to expand ourselves so that we can show up different in life, so we can show up as our vision. That's what we're here for. And if I can't model that, then I'm in the wrong business. So I'm going to invite us to prepare our hearts for next week's message, which is, Palm Sunday. And it's a message that interrupts our spiritual comfort zone and invites transformation at a deeper level. But before I do that, I'm curious, what's coming up for you? What are you thinking? I'll take the mic, because this isn't easy. You're sitting here. This is not easy stuff. But anybody have something you want to share? Yeah, I'm going to go back here to Heather. Come on down here, Heather. This is your first time with this microphone, isn't it?
Here. Yes, I appreciate that, Pat. So I'm
Yes.
Heather. I live in South Portland. So I don't know where. So basically, I have a tenant who has been smoking recently in my apartment, and he's from out of state, and is a teacher. And I don't want to disrupt his teaching at his school where he works. But by the same token, it can't go on in my building. So I'm at the crossroad where I have to confront him and ask him to stop smoking, or have the it's just a very tricky situation.
Yes, it is. So is this helping you? Helping you have?
This is perfect for today.
Good.
This is absolutely.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to reflect on something Pat said from last week's group meeting. We were looking, how do we attract younger people to this community? And I look at what's going on in the world. If I were a young adult, I'd be worried right now about, I remember Vietnam, and there are people saying we may need 500,000 troops in Iraq. They'd be concerned. I think the way we attract people is say, we're for peace. We are with you. If you want to protest, if you have something you want to bring, an alternative to fighting.
How does that fit in with what I'm talking about this morning, Jack?
Confronting our own fears of maybe speaking out.
Okay.
Christ never hesitated. He confronted the Pharisees, and he confronted the Roman governor when he was being tried. You have no power.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Kelly, come on down.
So Pat's heard the story, but I had some family drama over Christmas, and it kind of all blew up in our face. And so it had to do with the generation above us. And so unfortunately, no one was actually talking to each other about what was going on. So
Avoidance?
yes, a lot of avoidance over many years. So I took it upon myself to just reach out to each of my aunts and uncles and just engage in a conversation to really say, hey, whatever's going on with you all is starting to affect the younger generation, and it's causing tension between us. And I'd really like for this to be resolved, especially with my father passing last year. That's a hope of mine that he would want this family resolution in a lot of ways. But it took a lot of guts to confront some of these family members, because I do not have a great relationship with them. So these are great tools.
And tell us how it worked out.
It worked out really well. This one uncle who I'm kind of estranged with, we ended up having over an hour conversation on the phone.
Yes.
He told me how much he respected the fact that I called him to reach out, because he had been so hurt by other family members and felt kind of isolated. So just the fact that I called and talked to him, he just said he respected that so much, and it really meant a lot to him. So
yeah, perfect. That's how it works, friends. Anybody else? Yeah, Pat.
What this brought up for me is my estrangement from my son. And I'm not even sure how I could do this because I don't think he'll talk to me, but that is my desire, is to resolve this issue. And it's been 2 years now,
Mhm.
and it's still very painful. And I'm going to have to think about how to do this.
We'll have some tools here. Yes.
I'm also I'm estranged from my daughter, even though she lives with me. We rarely talk. We avoid each other in the house, and this started because I became depressed a few years ago, and she was really angry that this happened, and really angry at me. And I would love to confront her, and I would love to resolve this.
Mhm.
So hopefully this could help.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Thank you. I saw Vanessa. I had your hand up. Yeah.
I'm just in awe of you, Reverend Pat, because every Lent week has built and built, and I just keep feeling the courage it takes to do all of this, the embodiment of Christ, the message, the love. So I kept hearing when you're confronting without condemning, just the courage, and the root word of cour is French for heart. And I kept feeling Christ around you. So I just had to say that. And thank you, because it was about how do we embody this in a way, and as it just has its own asking for guidance too as we're doing this. So thank you.
Yes.
today.
Yeah. You're welcome. Christine?
A lot of you know about my daughter and I were estranged for many, many years. And finally, I just sort of let it go. And then some things started happening. And I found my mother's hat, and I reached out to her saying, I thought you might like her hat. And it was just the right thing. I don't know what it was. She goes, oh, yes, I want her hat. And since then, our relationship has grown and gotten better and better and better. So I've learned that when I'm having that confrontation with somebody else, that trying to not to blame them or blame myself, but to just say, I'm here. And if you want to talk to me, great. If not, okay. And I've had to do that with one of my cousins who just blames me for, I'm not sure what. It's in his own brain of whatever it is that I did. And my daughter said, don't worry about it. You know, it's all him. It's not you. And I went, okay. This is my daughter, who I'd been estranged with, is telling me it's okay that it's him, not you. And I went, okay. And I was able to let that go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
Yes, it is.
Learning about this.
And what's amazing, and I've heard it over the many years, is how relationships come back together again in ways that we couldn't even imagine, and taking this formula and applying it and seeing what happens. What more can happen if you're already having an estranged relationship? What more can happen in that direction? It might be just the thing that's needed in this, to shift everything.
My parents realized when I was about 21, so this is 50 years ago, that my mother realized something wasn't right in their relationship. So they went off to Masters and Johnson's in Missouri, somewhere out there. And they came back with this way of communicating. And they taught it to me, and I'd forgotten about it. Thank you. I feel hurt when you said blah, blah. I felt hurt when you walked away from me. And she said, your feelings are valid. And you don't know what they feel. You can't say, you made me feel this way,
Right.
because I felt it. So it was just a useful thing to say,
Yes.
I feel, and then what you're thinking.
Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. And I get crazy when I hear somebody say, they made me feel this way, or they made me think this way. Nobody makes you do anything. It's totally of your own choosing. And so, yes, and that's such a good way of entering the conversation, getting yourself in that space of love, and knowing that going into it, see, setting your intention for this relationship to be resolved, and then saying, you know, I felt hurt, or I felt discounted, I felt whatever that feeling was is important. And so finding and another thing that's really helpful for me anyway is to kind of play it over in my head, do the conversation in my head, so I kind of get it in body, I embody it, so when I go to do it, it's coming, because I already have knowing what I want to say and how I want to say it. So yes, Jacqueline.
So I'd like to look at it from the person that you're coming to. My ex-husband, when we were going through the divorce, I was doing it by myself and he wasn't helping at all. And then all of a sudden the night before, he says, well, I can't do this, I can't do this. So I said, let's meet. And so if someone comes to you saying they need to tell you something, the best thing you can do is listen.
Yes.
Listen with your whole heart to what they say. And then say, this is what I heard you say. So they feel heard before you speak.
Yes, absolutely. Good stuff. All right. So this week's practice. One micro repair. If there's one place that you need to make a repair, here's one small repair that you can use or that you can apply. And it might be with someone in your life who you missed a text. How many of you had that recently? 4 days and I haven't responded. Or a tone you didn't mean. That's a big one for me. Or a moment of distraction when you weren't present for them, or a small hurt. So when you apologize, you don't have any qualifiers. It's not like, I'm sorry, but, or I was tired. I didn't mean to do that. Those are all the parts that it might not have been your intention to do that, but the impact is what you're working on. So just say, I'm sorry for the tone of voice I used. I'm sorry that I had that tone of voice, and I love you and I want this relationship to work. Or I care about our connection might be another way. So if there's one place in your life right now that you need to make a micro repair, this is the time to do it. Because one micro repair changes the atmosphere of a relationship. So Jesus, as our teacher and way shower, models a kind of truth-telling that is always rooted in love. He reveals the truth of who we are and refuses to let us remain confined by the smallest stories that we create about ourselves. He meets people with clear eyes and an open heart, and he honors their dignity. And he gently names whatever blocks the flow of love so that love can move freely. This is the Jesus that we meet today, the one who shows us how to hold truth and compassion together. This is the Jesus who prepares us for what comes next on our journey. And this is the Jesus whose example continues shaping us into a community of courage, honesty, and deep connection. So I have an affirmation for us. Together, with love as my guide, I welcome truth without fear. I release condemnation. I embrace connection, and I allow love to move freely through me. And so it is. And now let us prepare for meditation.
When I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart. I open my heart. When I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart. Hallelujah. When I'm quiet in prayer, I see only love, see only love. When I'm quiet in prayer, I see only love. Hallelujah.
And now, as we allow the seat to support us, taking a few deep breaths to just enter into this time of quiet. And using the power of imagination, imagine now that you're walking into a quiet inner room. And that room is within your own heart. This is the space where Jesus meets us as our teacher, as our way shower. He meets us there, not to judge, not to shame, but simply to be present with us. And to be present with us in truth and in love. Notice how calm the room feels. Notice how safe it feels. This is a space where nothing needs to be hidden. And now, in your mind's eye, see Jesus enter this inner room. Not a distant religious figure, but the human Jesus, steady, compassionate, grounded. He looks at you the way he looked at those he taught, with eyes that see clearly and love that holds gently. Now you have a picture in your mind's eye of Jesus. Feel the dignity in his gaze, the respect, the compassion, that unhurried presence. This is the Jesus who confronts without condemning. So now imagine that he sits beside you. No pressure, no urgency, just presence. And in that presence, he invites you in your own heart, in your own time, to notice one small place where love has felt blocked. There's no judgment here, only clarity. Let the blockage soften, as if a window is opening and fresh air is coming in. And now, imagine Jesus placing a hand over his heart and then over yours. And hear him say to you, I'm here to restore connection, not to break it. I'm here to free you, not to condemn you. Let love move freely again. Let those words rest softly in your heart. Just rest with those words for a minute. You are being prepared gently and fully for the deeper truth and transformation still ahead. You are held, you are guided, you are safe in this unfolding. And may you hold this simple prayer in your heart. May I face truth with love. May I receive truth with love. May I offer truth with love. And when you're ready, bring yourself back. And so it is. Amen. Our prayer partner today is Jacqueline. So if this has brought up anything for you that you need a little extra prayer for, she's here. There will be no Course in Miracles today. Matt chose to stay home because of the weather forecast. There will be no powering up either because I'm going home. And what is coming up, and it's online, so we don't have to worry about snow, is a course with Vanessa, Luminous Living and Source Activation Expansion. For those of you that were here on Friday night, you know how powerful that was. I can only imagine how powerful this class is going to be. It's 3 Thursdays, March 26th, April 9th, and April 23rd. So there's a week in between each of them. It's creating a sacred space to safely, joyfully, and powerfully explore techniques, different modalities, and practices. You can attend one or you can attend them all. It's registration is online at our website. Next week is Palm Sunday. As always, we do a palm walk, and there will be a powerful service that sets you up for your palm walk. And then Easter Sunday. And Easter Sunday is our potluck, and we will be cooking a ham here. So if you want to bring a side dish to go along with it, we'll have an Easter dinner. And as I mentioned, creating the beloved community, the books are in. Kelly will be in the bookstore. Jack's books are there too. So everything is good. And Barbara does the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday daily faith lift. I love it when people leave comments for her. That's always reassuring, and nice to know that people are there. So with all that being said, now it's time for us to receive and open our arms for a great opportunity for receiving. Because as you give, so do you receive, because it is in that giving that you so receive. So let us say our affirmation together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, for the joy of giving. And don't forget your affirmation.
While the offering's being taken, please join us in singing Grateful.
Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is. Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing God is all there is, that God is all there is. Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is, God is all there is.
All right. We bless these tithes and offerings, for we know that there is so much for this community to do, and this is what helps us to make that happen, and we are grateful. And so now our prayer for protection. We are the light. We are the love. We are the power. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let us join hands or join together as we sing the peace song. Do the peace song anymore. Boo hiss, did I hear?
Not that key though.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as the one source, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
It really does feel appropriate to be singing that right now. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Have a blessed week.